I actually had to go outside and stand on the porch and let it like hang off the porch because it's so big now. I figured I couldn't lift it up over my head. It's actually quite heavy. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Welcome to episode 265 of the Love and Stitches podcast. I'm coming to you again from Nashville this week, where it is a chilly day outside. Last night, it was actually getting really warm here. We're in kind of this like over the garage room here in my parents' house that is not connected to the central heat and air. So the temperature really changes with what's going on outside. And I thought, oh no, the time of the year is coming where I'm not going to be able to hang out here, like up here as much. But then the weather got really cold. It got into like the freezing temperatures over the night. So it feels beautifully chilly, enough so that I'm able to wear my Nordlic cardigan, which you probably have seen before because I've been wearing it constantly, so much so that it is pilling like crazy. I really need to buy a gleaner, but this is the Nordlic cardigan by Fibertails. I finished it this year, early this year, and I've been wearing it so much, and I'm going to continue to wear it until it is too hot to do so. Okay, this week I have lots of different projects to show you. The week is kind of shaped by mostly focusing on getting my travel blanket done. I have a lot to show you with that project. I think we'll start with that one actually. And then just little bits of working on all my other projects. My theme for myself this week with my projects is like the total opposite of what it was last week. Last week it was like, get everything done, be really regimented, do tons and tons of knitting, crochet, and spinning. And this week it has been more about like stepping back from that, taking it easy, not putting so much pressure on myself. I found that I was just like avoiding working on a lot of things because I had just gone way too far in the regimented direction. You might even have been able to tell that from last week. So this week it's just little bits of projects here and there. Why don't we start then with my blanket? Holy cow. I have it in my giant floater boat tote that is a sewn pattern you can find on my Etsy shop, not designed by me. I do not sew, but it's been perfect for my blanket. So let's talk about the pattern. This is the Summer Fade Hexie Blanket by Mallory Crawl. I have pretty heavily modified it. Mostly I've changed a couple stitches and then I added around. And then overall, the look of mine is just quite different from the original pattern, but you need the original pattern to do this. And you can follow all of my notes if you want to make similar sized hexies to mine. They have a 5th round, I think. But I'm loving how it's coming out. So I have been working on this project very diligently over the past week, and I have completed the 7th ring around. So I have a picture of that. I actually had to go outside and stand on the porch and let it like hang off the porch because it's so big now. I figured I couldn't lift it up over my head. It's actually quite heavy. And so I have done, I think 21 hexies, and we'll look at those in just a second. There's a couple other things I want to tell you about this project. So last week, I had brought this kind of back into my whip pile. It had been hibernating since like maybe May of last year, and it's now March. So it had been hibernating for a long time. So it took me a lot of mental effort, I feel like, to get back into this project because I had a lot to figure out. And I did all of that last week. So one of the things that I had to figure out is just remembering how to do the pattern, consulting with my notes in Ravelry, and it turns out that my gauge has changed pretty drastically. I'm not that surprised by this because this has happened to me in other projects, especially crochet over the years. Actually, I tried to get back into my Battenberg blanket recently, and after I made the first square, those are like little tiny squares, I realized they were coming out way bigger, and I was like, forget this, I don't have the mental capacity to do that right now. I set it aside. So when I got this out and I made my first hexie with the same hook size and it came out bigger than the previous hexies, I was like, okay, we can figure this out. Let's just go down one hook size and try that. So I went down one hook size for the next hexie. I didn't take out the one that was slightly big. There is some variation like throughout this anyway, just because I'm using different fingering weight yarns, like different fiber makeups. So there's slightly different thicknesses. But for the next one, I went down from a 4.5 millimeter to a 4 millimeter. And that seemed to be coming out pretty much the same size as my previous Hexies. So for the last bit of the blanket here, I've actually gone down a hook size. I decided not to change it in my Ravelry notes because that wasn't my original hook size, but I did add a little note just for myself or for anyone else. I don't know. I try to keep really good notes that I end up using a lot when I remake projects, but also just to kind of share information for other people. So that was one thing to figure out. So once I had the pattern memorized again and I had my hook size right, things have really been moving quite smoothly. My goal has been to do 3 hexagons a day, and it's a little more work than I thought it was going to be. It takes a little more time because I've got to wind yarn most of the time. I have to wind up either a full skein or a mini skein. I then make all of the Hexies, and then I make them all the way up until the last round, which is when I join it, and then I kind of sit down and join them all. But I feel like I need to be in a specific spot to join them. This is no longer a portable project. Sitting in this chair actually is totally fine. I can sit on the couch, I can sit on the bed, but I need somewhere where I can kind of like spread the blanket out, figure out where I am and all of that stuff. So that's really been going well. And yesterday I actually laid out the colors for the whole rest of the blanket. So after I completed the 7th round, I then was ready. I have all of my yarn, I think, except for 2 colors. I have yarn coming in from Vermont, and I have yarn that I'm planning to order for my New Hampshire representation. I'm just waiting for that to go up on the dyer's website, and then I'm grabbing that like as soon as it goes up there. So I already know where those are going to go in the blanket. So everything else I was able to plan out. So I have a photo of me standing on a step stool over the bed yesterday. I have all the colors planned out. So I have pictures of like overhead, and then I have pictures of each section so that I'm able to follow that. And then I should be able to finish this in the next 2 weeks if I do 3 Hexies a day. I still have 40 more Hexies to do. And so what worked really well for me last week and what I've done again this week is I've taken all the colors for the week, so 21 colors, and I've lined them all up on this like dresser that's in our bedroom. And so they're all out, they're very happy displayed, and then I can just go and grab my 3 for the day. I can wind them, and then I bring them upstairs and I work on them, and that's been a pretty great routine. So yeah, this has been my main project for sure. I don't know exactly how long it takes me every day. I remember before, when I was working on this originally, I estimated it takes like 30 to 45 minutes per Hexie to crochet it and add it, but then also thinking about, the time to wind it and everything, it's kind of a lot. But now that all the planning logistics are out of the way, I feel like even if it still takes the same amount of time, it's going to feel like less effort throughout these next 2 weeks, and I can just have a really happy experience like ending out this blanket. Not that it hasn't been happy before, but the whole reason that I took like a 9-month break is because I was so burnt out on making this project. And I'm really happy I gave myself that time because now I can in this project with a lot more joy. So that's been really, really great. Okay, is that all of the details I wanted to share? I think so. I'd love to show you the different Hexies that I made. Oh, the other thing that I did is I spent a lot of time this last week catching up on adding all my notes to Ravelry. I have the state, the dyer, and the color all in a list on my Ravelry notes. Then I also have a photo of each Hexie with the same thing, the state, the dyer, and the color name. The only thing that I haven't been doing this time around is adding all of those things to Instagram. I was doing an Instagram highlight for a while, and that was just like too much. So I figured with me adding 3 Hexies a day, I need to eliminate something. So sorry, I'm not going to be adding them to Instagram, at least not right now. All right, so let's go through the ones that I've added this week. There's some really, really fun colors in here. I mean, they're all beautiful, but there's some really cool ones. So Before I picked this back up, this little Cheez-It marked one is the very last Hexie I'd done, which is from Montana. Funny story about this one, actually. I missed adding it into my Ravelry notes, so I got like off on my number somewhere, and I actually thought I didn't add it in, and I'd already gone past it for this point. And if you know my brain, I like to do things in order, so I am adding yarns to this blanket like as we travel to those states. So it really was bothering me that Montana wasn't going to be in the right place. And I was like, I know I bought yarn from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I went back to my podcast from right after we were in Montana to confirm that, yes, I had bought yarn at Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And I'm like, where is this yarn? It's missing. I don't know where it is. I thought I hadn't added it to the blanket yet. Then I ended up finding it in my, all of this right here is like blanket yarn. There's also, it's spilling all over the floor now. There's so much of it, but I found it. And it was already wound, and I thought, oh no, I probably thought because it was already wound that I'd already put it in the blanket and I put it away, so I missed adding it to the blanket. And then I just went back and realized it's already here. I just hadn't tracked it in Ravelry. I'd only tracked up to this last one here, or this one before it. So long story short, I was in a panic for about 15 minutes. I mean, not a real panic, but I was really debating if I was going to add Montana out of order when I found the yarn. Anyhow, it all worked out just fine. So after Montana, let's see, where are we at? I added in some Wyoming yarn. So we were visiting Wyoming last summer. We did a whole yarn crawl, and we went to all the yarn stores in Wyoming, all 7, I believe, and put it into one video. And they do this yarn crawl every summer. So if you're headed out to Yellowstone or driving across the country for any reason, or visiting family in Wyoming, you should go check out the yarn stores there. They're all really, really great. So this one is from Sweet Mountain Crafts, and it is the spring bulb set. It actually came with a brown to go with it, which is really pretty. I did not end up adding the brown to the blanket, but I just went for the main color. And then this one is from Blackbird Sycamore Yarn. It's called Sky Dance, and it was an exclusive colorway to one of the yarn stores there in Wyoming. Then we have, one more Wyoming. This one is from Teton Yarn Company, and is called Hidden Falls, which I believe is one of the places inside Grand Tetons? I don't know why I'm forgetting the name of the national park, but we got that when we were there visiting the national park. And then a fourth Wyoming one. This is from Wicked Tent Yarns, and it's called Aurora. And I can't remember. We've seen the Aurora Borealis, but I think we were in Idaho when we saw it this year. Last year. There was a lot of opportunities to see it. After Wyoming, we went to Michigan. This is one of the most Michigan colors you will ever see. This one is from Knitterly Things, and it's called Hail to the Victors. And then this one is from Fiberology, and it is called Copper. Next up, I start getting into kind of like one from each state. So this one is from Wisconsin, from Stitch Stuff Yarn, and it's called Lulu. And then this one is from Minnesota, Cashmere and Coconuts, and it was an exclusive colorway to a yarn store called Welcome Home. Then we are in the Dakotas. So this one is one of maybe my first gifted yarns, or rather gifted in a state that I didn't actually acquire it myself. So when we visited North Dakota, we went to a really cool place called the Gnome Schoolhouse. If you have not seen that video, it is seriously one of the coolest places, one of the most original and unique places that we've been to. It's in a super tiny town in North Dakota, in Nome, and it is a renovated schoolhouse over 100 years old. And there is a fiber mill. They do, what's it called? I have it back behind me. Needle felting there. Bear Creek Needle Felting is there. They have a boutique hotel. They do retreats. It's super beautiful. When we were there, they were giving spinning classes. Then they have a little store. But what they don't have is kind of like that sock yarn that I'm looking for this blanket. So even though I did get needle felting stuff. I don't believe I got any yarn there. So I was missing a North Dakota colorway. And one of you reached out to me and said, hey, I have a 50-gram skein of a North Dakota dyer, and you sent it to me. And that was really, really nice. So this is from Sister Weekend Yarn Co. and it's called Follow You to the River. Then I have a South Dakota one. This is not a South Dakota dyer. It's actually a Minnesota dyer, Cato Yarn Company, but it is an exclusive colorway for a South Dakota yarn store, and it's called Tumbleweeds. Okay, whew, lots to share. This is Nebraska, where we visited next. It's from Lazy Bee Yarn Company, and it is called Knit Lincoln, or it's from their Knit Lincoln collection. It's called Brunch Spots. And then here is my newest acquisition. I ordered this on the weekend and it arrived so fast because also in Iowa, even though I did get some yarn, I didn't get a fingering weight yarn to use in my blanket. And so this is from an Iowa dyer, Shelby Strings yarn, and it is called Varda. Somebody actually recommended this dyer and this colorway to me, and it's just perfect. The color reminds me of the yarn store that we visited, Fiber Heart. So I got yarn at Fiber Heart, but again, not yarn for the blanket. So this just all worked out perfect, and this yarn is so, so soft. So I'm really happy it got here so quickly. Okay, I think then we jump up, see how it kind of jumps up here to our 8th ring. So I mark the beginning of the ring with a little marker. And we are getting into, never mind. I've taken some of my pictures when it's been dark outside and the lighting up here is not great. So I probably should retake some of these pictures because it's hard to tell actually what the colors really are. I should definitely retake them. But this one is a yarn that is from Woolen Women Fiber. They are out of Pennsylvania, and this is a colorway that we collaborated on together last January, and it's called Greatest Yarny Adventure. So even though they're in Pennsylvania, it's not really specifically attached to any state. It's just representative of our entire journey and travels. And so I realized I hadn't added it to the blanket yet. I made a pair of socks, I made a yarn cozy out of it, and it needed to be represented in the blanket. So that kicked off the 8th and final ring. Then we get into Alaska, and these two yarns came from a sock set. This is the main color, and then this is a sparkly pink mini. They are both from Strawberry Blonde Fibers, and the blue color is called Otter Pop. And then finally for this week, thanks for bearing with me through all the colors, we have these 4 beauties. Now, Hawaii is another place where I bought yarn at an alpaca farm, but I didn't get any yarn for the blanket because I couldn't find, there, to my knowledge, are not any yarn stores like similar to what you may think of as a yarn store like in the mainland. There used to be a dyer, I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm not going to say it, but there used to be a dyer in a shop in one of the islands that we did not get to, but I think they have since moved to dyeing more fabrics, which is more a part of like the local culture, which is really, really cool. But I didn't have any Hawaiian dyers. And so this one is kind of a stretch a little bit because Pineapple Yarn is actually in North Carolina now, but she used to be in Hawaii. I think it's North Carolina. And so when I was in South Carolina, somebody gifted me this set of 4 minis, and I think they're perfect to represent Hawaii. So not everything is a perfect like indie dyer from that state, but as long as it's somehow representative of the state, it's like, it works for me. And I'm so grateful for this. Like these colors make me so happy. This one is called Golden Kiwi. This one is my favorite. I want to make like a shirt or socks or something out of this. I got to get more of this color. It's so cool. It is called, I haven't added it in a photo yet because I realized my photos were not looking very representative of the color, but I do have it on my list. I believe this one is Lush Paradise. And then this one is Punk Palm. And this one is Like My Shirt. And that is it for this week. So until next time, I'll have lots more to share. The next few projects are not going to take as long, I promise, because I haven't done as much on them. So let's go through them kind of quickly. So first up are my BeachComber Flares. This is a pattern by Brianna Lapino. It's a pair of flare pants, and I've been working on these forever. I need to just finish them, but I'm trying to take it easy and just take things as they come. So my blanket is really my only kind of regimented project right now. Everything else is just happening as it happens. And I'm hoping to start to finish off projects and not add anything else. Like, I was really tempted actually this weekend to cast on a brand new project because it was my birthday and I wanted to celebrate, but I thought maybe a better gift to myself would be to not cast on a new project and to actually start finishing some things. Nothing finished yet, but maybe next week. So I am finished with one leg. I think I just had to do the bottom hem last week. So I finished that. Everything is blocked up to right here. So this will actually stay. It's curling right now, but it will actually stay a lot better once I block it. And then I started on finishing the second leg. I mean, it's already down to past my knee. I am working right now on the straight portion. So from my cute little cosmic brownie, I have worked all of this week, honestly, only in my 30 minutes of knitting in the morning. I think that's true. I may have taken this to like an appointment or something and worked on it while I waited, but for the most part, all of this got done in really short pockets of time when I'm sitting in bed in the morning, knitting and reading. I usually set a timer for 30 minutes and I eat my breakfast, so it's probably more like 15 minutes of knitting each morning, but I still made progress this week, which was really good. So that's going to be my plan for the rest of this week, is just to work on it in the morning, and then I'm sure I'm probably like maybe 5 rows now from starting the increases. Yeah, now they're lined up. So I'm really close to starting the increases for the flares. And I find that to be really motivating because you increase every like maybe 4 rows or so. And so you have a lot of markers of progress. So you're like, oh, I did another 4 rows. I did another increase. I did another increase. And even though their stitch count is getting bigger, I find it to be faster because I can see my progress moving. So I don't want to say that these are going to be done by next week. Could they be done by next week? Sure, but I'm not going to push it and I'm not going to force anything. I am working on my blanket vlog today during my lunch break. That's going to be up in just a couple of weeks. Between walking toaster and filming this vlog today, I only have about 15 minutes to eat lunch. It's days like these that make me really glad that it's a factor week. Well, let's see what we have in here. Ooh, this tomato goat cheese cavatappi looks amazing. While that's warming up, I have 2 minutes to tell you all of my favorite things about Factor. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning by delivering fresh, never frozen meals right to my door. They have 35 delicious weekly meal options, including different diets like Protein Plus, Keto, Vegan, and Veggie. Factor is really convenient. It takes all the stress out of planning. I don't need to go to the grocery store. Everything is just prepped and ready to go. Then all I have to do is heat it up for 2 minutes and I have a delicious meal ready to go. Ooh, I forgot to add that Factor even has gourmet meals with premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccolini, and asparagus. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50natty to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50natty at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Back to work for me and back to the video. I wasn't even going to show this project because I thought I hadn't done anything on it, but when I actually looked into the bag, I realized I had done more than I thought. So I am working on a Manhattan hat by Tori Yu, and you can see I've done, I don't know, 2 inches maybe since last week. And this hat I'm doing with my own Handspun yarn. It's so yummy and so nice to work with. Even though it's very nubby and uneven looking, I'm still really happy with it. I'm still really proud of it. And yeah, there's not much else more to say about this. I did share last week all of my different little skeins that I am working with, but I didn't bring those up here today. This is what the first skein looks like. It's very purpley. My next one gets more purple and pink, and then my last one is very pink. That will be the one that goes at the top. So I haven't even wound those up yet. I think what I'm going to do is, for this week, I'm really going to focus on the blanket again. I'm going to do my pants and my 30 minutes of knitting in the morning, and I probably will only pick this project up when I'm going out of the house, which I will be doing this weekend. I'm going to Nash Yarn Fest. So I'm not going to push anything like trying to get a certain number of inches done on this. This is just my out and about easy project, and if it gets worked on, it gets worked on. I'm bringing in a project that you haven't seen in a few weeks because I was working on it more for a teaching purposes, and I wasn't really working on it as a project. And also I haven't done too much on it, but this is my Brioche Cowl, and it's so bright and so fun. This yarn is from Ruby and Roses. It is her plump rose base, which is an 85 superwash merino 15% nylon 2-ply. It's so bouncy and so squishy. I can't remember if I've worked with this base before, but I love it, especially in brioche. It's been super, super nice. I've got two colors. The lighter color is the Rosy Cheeks, and the brighter pink is Material Girl. I'm planning to do sort of a set of a cowl, gloves, and a hat with these two colors. So I have leftovers. This is also Ruby and Roses in the, oh my gosh, how did I forget already? Rosy Cheeks colorway. So I have one skein left over of this that I'm going to do a hat eventually. That's the plan. And then I bought a second skein of Material Girl to do a pair of gloves. And then the cowl will be the thing that brings the set together because it's got both colors in it. But I also started this because for the Love and Stitches membership, we are doing brioche for the month of March. And so to prepare for brioche for March, we did a workshop in early February of just basic 2-color brioche. And that's when I started the cowl. So you can see the whole bottom of this cowl is just standard 2-color brioche in the round. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Brioche is so much fun. If you haven't tried it, it's not as hard as it sounds. It's really, really great. And then not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we had Leslie Ann Robinson come and teach us all about textural brioche. She is such a great teacher. If you ever see her at your local yarn shop or at a show and you want to learn brioche, you should definitely take a class from her. She is fantastic. And so we learned that. And then the last thing we needed to learn was brioche increasing and decreasing. So I taught a workshop on that this past weekend, and I am not that great, or I'm definitely not great with pattern design with brioche. And I thought I was going to create something really cool, like cable-like, and turns out that that's not really what happened. This is what I ended up creating. I mean, it's still kind of cool, and we'll see how it looks as I keep going. It's basically just squiggly lines, but we've got some increasing, we've got some decreasing. It got the job done. We learned the skills. So I worked on this, for several hours over the past week, getting prepared for the class and then teaching the class, but I haven't really touched it since then. Also, originally, when I made this project page, I attached it to the pattern Brioche Loop, and it's a free pattern by, Tanya Steinbach. And I realized pretty quickly that I really wasn't doing anything that actually pertained to the pattern. That pattern is in half brioche. This is in full brioche. I've changed the stitch count, and now I've changed the cabling pattern. There's cables in that one, but true cables where you're actually crossing your stitches. This one has brioche increases and decreases and doesn't look like cables. So I've detached the pattern from my project page, and this is basically just kind of my own thing at this point. So I don't have a pattern listed because there's really not one. It's my own made up stuff. But this is a project that's also like the hat. Actually, probably not even going to get worked on. The hat might get worked on this week. This is probably going to go into a little hibernation until I finish one of my other projects. I'm really trying to take things off my plate knitting wise and finish things, and then finish another thing, and then eventually, once I get my projects back down to a more reasonable number, finally start something new. I had grand plans this week to completely finish spinning and plying my How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days fiber countdown. It's from the Little Wolf Knits. It's fantastic. I've been filming a vlog since February 1st that will have all the details on that. So if you are interested in seeing like all the spinning stuff, that's going to be coming soon. I thought it was going to come out this week, but I'm not finished. And so we've pushed that on to later in March, potentially even April. I have done a little spinning this week, and I got some fresh motivation from a new toy that I got, and I'm so excited to show it to you. Check this out. This is the electric eel wheel box from Spinning Siren. This one has a really fun honeycomb, and it's got these really cool colors on it. It's 3D printed, and Spinning Siren, wait, am I upside down? Actually don't know which way it goes, I'm sorry. One of these ways. Spinning Siren has the box for the Nano and for the Eel Wheel 6. Super, super cool. So I had been looking for something to store my electric spinning wheel in. And especially for travel, I wanted something that was compact, that was lightweight, that was sturdy, like hard-sided, so I could put it in a backpack and nothing was going to push on my wheel. I recently traveled and I flew, and I had my wheel like in the top of my backpack, as disassembled as I could possibly get it, and it still kind of got like pushed on by different things in my backpack. I ended up having to like kind of push a knob back in once I got to my destination. And I was just like, I need to find something. So I was sharing that with some people. And while I was at the Little Wolf Knits retreat, somebody said, hey, they actually make a box specifically for the Eel Wheel, and they had both the Nano and the Eel Wheel 6, so they brought them to show me, and I fell in love immediately, and as soon as I picked my color, I ordered one. So I actually go into complete detail on this in the vlog that I recorded, the vlog that went up on Tuesday. I received this on that day, and so I totally geek out and nerd out over it entirely. So I'm just going to do an abridged version here, but if you want to see that fully, you can watch that vlog if you haven't already. So there are little handles on the side here, and then watch this. This comes off. Oh my goodness, I got flowers. Sorry, this is going to be the worst transition ever, but I got interrupted by the doorbell. The dogs were barking, and it's because my mother-in-law sent me flowers for my birthday. Okay, back to the spinning wheel. Let me put the lid back on because that wasn't a very good reveal, was it? Okay, pretend you didn't see that before. You ready? Okay, here we go. You lift the lid off the box and check this out. Spinning wheel, all completely protected by the box top. And then it has this really wonderful base where the spinning wheel actually screws into. So it's like all into place, not going to wiggle around or anything. It has these drawers down here. And actually what's neat about this one drawer is you can put your battery, it fits like perfectly, it doesn't rattle around at all. And then you can plug in without having to, take the battery separately, which I found really kind of annoying because I would be like carrying the battery and carrying this, and it was just not fun. So let me unplug that so it's out of the way. But these are both drawers here, and this one is a little bit bigger. You can put all kinds of accessories. I can throw this little switch in there. super cool. And then when the lid actually goes on, the drawers lock into place and they don't move. I'm sure there's lots of other really cool things about this, but it is just absolutely perfect and what I was looking for. Even, let's set this back down. Even at home, I've already noticed how much more convenient it is to have this base, because sometimes I'm moving this around from, you know, one room to the next. And now all I have to do is just pick up one piece, and it's very easy to do rather than having the spinning wheel where I have to very carefully hold it by the base because I don't want to touch, you know, the flyer or the bobbins or anything and wiggle things out of place. And then, okay, hold on, one last thing. I said I wasn't going to go into detail. This is Natalie doing an abridged version. Can you see right here, there's a hole in the top. That's so that you can see your battery display and see how many, there's 5 little lights. So 5 is fully charged, 3 it's starting to get, you know, starting to go down. So I probably should charge it soon. But I just think like all those little touches, so brilliant. So this is the electric eel wheel box. They have it for the Nano, they have it for the 6. And you can get so many different colors. You can also get things, you can either just get the base, you can get the full box, and there's also all these little fun accessories that come with it. Like I can replace a bunch of the things on my Nano to these really fun colors. They have bobbins. I will put a link for the shop down below. I also just have to say that they have fantastic customer service. They were super responsive with me. I was inquiring about the colors because I wanted this color specifically and I didn't see it listed. They got back to me right away. And then I had a question about how to set it up and they got back to me right away. So just really, really awesome. And I'm so happy to have it. Now, as far as spinning actually goes, I didn't bring up anything else that I've done this week. I'm not really sure how much spinning I've done this week because I really burnt out on it a bit. Honestly, I had grand plans to do like 7 colors a day, basically a full bobbin, 2 ounces every single day. And then a day would go by and I didn't spin. Another day would go by and I didn't spin. And I just realized that I needed to take a little break. So I took a couple days off completely, did like 1 color. Then I took a couple more days off and then did a few colors. And then this weekend, especially with the arrival of the box, I got a little more motivated on it after a little time off and a little bit of excitement. And I think I did all of this weekend. So I'm working on the second half of the second ply and it's going to be so much yarn. So eventually I will be finished. I think I've just spun day 17 maybe. So I have colors 18 through 28 to finish spinning, plying, and then I should have like 7 skeins of yarn to make a sweater. I have 2 fun things to share with you that I have received in the mail in the last week. So the first is my April A Woolen yarn box. This is a subscription from Woolen Women Fibers. The color I was talking about in my blanket that we collaborated on last January was from this box. So they've been doing this box for a long time. I've been receiving it for a long time. And because I'm one of their affiliates, I get it a little bit early so I can preview it and share it with you all. So let's take a look at April's. I wrote down the date. You can order April's through March 23rd. Okay, so the theme for this month is a woolen derby. It says, we're off to the races. Put on your most extravagant fascinator hat, sip a mint julep, and bring your luckiest attitude. We're knitting and crocheting at the derby. This is too cute. I love it. Okay, let's look at the yarn first. I always love starting with the yarn. There's usually always yarn, of course, usually a bag and then some other little elements to go with it. Ooh, this is pretty. Okay, so I get the fingering weight one. It comes as a little set. It is called Woolen Derby. This color is beautiful. Yellows speckled with some fun different colors and then a nice golden yellow to go with it. Oh, I love that. I used my set last month that came with 2, was it last month? No, February's. I used February's to make a Musselboro hat. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this one yet, but maybe I will work on it. Here, I can put it into my stash since I'm right here. I'm just gonna throw it into my stash right away so I don't have to deal with it. Okay, then there is a really cute bag with some fancy hats on it. It's a zippered project bag with a little canvas, canvas? What is this material? It has a handle. Nice bag. Good, like medium-sized project bag, I would say. And then I think they sent me my box a little bit early, so I don't have the candle or the lotion bar, but I can tell you what they have in them. So the candle is called Freedom Rose. It is Bohemian Rose, Honeysuckle, and Magnolia. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. And then there is a lanolin lotion bar. Sometimes there's a lotion bar, sometimes there is a wool wash, and they always smell so good. The lotion bar is called Most Stylish Hat. It says it has honeysuckle, jasmine, and lemon. Wow, that sounds really nice. There's also a pattern that comes with it, either a knit or crochet pattern. So that's really fun. There's a hat pattern. I believe that's the crochet one that's coming with it, which is really cool. And then the last thing here, is that the last thing? I think so. I'll have to ask them because sometimes there's a stitch markers too. Maybe I'm missing that, but there is a little keychain that has a mint julep recipe on it. Little wooden keychain that is super, super cute. So these boxes are really, really fun. You can get, I think this is the basic version, or you can get the updated version that has like all the fun accessories and things, which is usually what I get. I love using their candles. I keep one on my desk and I light it every single morning when I come upstairs and get started on my emails. It kind of just like starts the day off really, really nice. Okay, I have one more thing to show you, and that is a book, a summer crochet book by Janine. Miska, I believe is how you say her last name. So I was really excited to get to preview this book. So this was sent to me as a gift. So thank you so much, Janine. And this book comes out on March 18th. It has 19 different crochet patterns for the summer. And I went through and I counted, and I think I'm correct, but there are 12 garments, one of which is actually a dress and a tank top, and 7 accessories, but I may be slightly off. That was just my rough count. There's so much in here to look at. And all of the garment patterns are sizes extra small through 5XL. And looking through it, it appears to me that that is about a 30-inch bust to a 60-inch bust, not finished size, but actual size. I wanted to show you the like sizing charts that are included in here. Really, really good and thorough information, schematics, all of those things. And any of the like lace patterns are included as crochet charts. I think, let me see. I think they're also as written patterns as well. I don't want to show obviously everything in here, but Janine said I could like flip through and show a few things and like show a few different charts just so you can have an idea of everything that's included in here. So really, really cool. I have been a fan of Janine's patterns for a while, and I really want to make a beach cover-up. I don't know if I'm going to do it this year, but I have a beach vacation planned for next summer, and it's already been on my mind to make some sort of lacy crochet beach cover up to wear when I go on that vacation. So this will be the perfect book for that. Now, all the patterns in here, she included these notes when I asked about it, because I was like, what do you want me to say or like share about this specifically? Because I already love it. I'm already going to share different patterns, but she was really thorough with the testing of all of this. So let me see if I can just get these notes like right for you. So every single pattern has been completely tested. They had hundreds of pattern testers, and people use different yarns. So there's a substantial yarn list. So there's lots and lots of options, not just one specific yarn for each pattern. Also, every pattern had a minimum of 3 tech editors, which is insane to me. I don't even know what that means. That sounds amazing. Plus it was pattern tested, plus it was copy edited. So if that's what it takes to make a book, remind me never to make a book, because that sounds like a lot. But rest assured that you can feel confident that these are very thoroughly tested and are going to produce a really great fit. Okay, so I want to show you some of my favorites that are in here. You can preview all of them on Janine's Instagram. She's been sharing photos over the past few days. I should have written her Instagram. It is, I believe it's Knits and Knots. That is her business name. But I think you can also search it by Janine Miska. So some of my favorites in here, I should have marked them, but I don't have any like little sticky tabs. Oh, I used to love getting those when I was a student. Okay, hold on. There's a cover-up dress that is just like, oh, so cute. Okay, here it is. This is the Siren Side Slit Dress. How cute is that? Look how pretty that stitch pattern is. I love that one. Then there's a skirt. Actually, there's several skirts and wraps, but this one, oh wait, that's not the pattern page for it. Dang it. Well, I don't remember what this one's called exactly, but look at this, like kind of that pineapple. Oh, it's so pretty. And then I think you can make it, oh no, this is different actually. Here's another dress. Basically anything lacy for me, I love. And then, oh, actually I really liked this one too. This is the tropical beach dress that can also be made as a tank, which is a little more coverage, a little bit of a like heavier mesh style. And then last thing here I'll show you is a bag that I really liked. There's lots of things, lots and lots of things. Oh, here's the skirt. No, that's the beginning. There's a bunch of notes in the beginning as well to kind of get you set up for the project. Oh my gosh, sorry. Should have gotten a bookmark. Okay, here we go. This is the Collins bag, and it's this cute little tote with like a wooden ring for a handle. I just think that's really, really adorable. So this book you can pre-order in a number of different places. Amazon, I think Barnes & Noble. There's a whole list on Janine's website, so I'll link her page that links to everything below for both the US and Canada. And then you can get it starting March 18th, but if you pre-order, I believe it should arrive on the 18th. So you can get ready to make for the summer. So many fun things. So many fun things. All right, let's talk about events. This weekend is Nash Yarn Fest, the inaugural year. I'm going to be there on Friday evening for that event. I'm also going to be there all day Saturday for the marketplace. But if you are coming and you want a specific place where you know that I will be in the Bliss Yarns booth on Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Other than that, I'm going to be wandering around. Kent's going to be with me. We're going to be filming a vlog, so feel free to come up and say hi if you are there. The Knit for Food Knit-a-thon is a virtual event coming up in April. It's on Saturday, April 5th. It is a fundraiser. I am helping to raise funds again this year for these organizations. Feeding America, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, and Meals on Wheels. This fundraiser, Knit for Food, is put on by Laura Nelkin, who is a wonderful designer and hilarious person. She actually does, I don't know if it's weekly, but she does lives on YouTube that are very funny. I've caught them on occasion. But if you sign up for Knit for Food, you'll start to get emails about the event. So the final event is on Saturday, April 5th, but the fundraising is happening now all the way until that day. Anyone who raises $100 or more will be able to participate in the Zooms that are happening all day long. And if you sign up and you want to, you can attach yourself to the Love and Stitches group. Our personal goal is to raise $3,500, which is just a touch more than we raised last year. I'll put the link down below. And then lastly, coming up is Yarn Centric in Frederick, Maryland. It's happening on Friday, May 2nd. You can get tickets. It's a ticketed event, so there's shopping time slots, and all the vendors are listed on their website as well. I'll have that below too. It's from 10 to 5 p.m. I will be there, I think, around noon. I have the noon to 2 time slot, but I might be staying like a little bit after or a little bit before that as well, because I'm going to be doing a meet and greet. The time right now is 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time, but we're still kind of working out the details, so I'll let you know if anything changes. So all the information for Yarn Centric can be found on their website, yarncentric.com. This weekend, I spent some time organizing and tidying up my projects, my life. Honestly, ever since we got back from Pennsylvania, I feel like I just haven't quite been myself. Like I haven't been as motivated or as organized as I usually am. And so I took the time this weekend to finally kind of get things more organized and more tidy. And I think that's why I feel better about my projects and I'm able to be more relaxed about them. On Saturday of this past weekend is when I filmed a vlog. And so I kind of was cleaning up that whole day, getting organized, getting my blanket project organized, getting my spinning stuff organized, tidying up my room. It was like a mess. I don't know. There was just so many things that I needed to get in order. And that really allowed me to like feel finally caught up and like accomplished. I don't know. It felt really good, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas the previous part of the week, I had a lot of different stuff going on. I had like some dental appointments and some doctor appointments and like just all this mess that really threw off my week. So getting everything organized over the weekend felt so, so good. And then on Sunday, it was my 33rd birthday, and I kind of celebrated mostly on Sunday, but I had a couple things throughout the week, just little treats to myself. I got a massage, which was really wonderful. What is it called? Trigger point therapy, which is like they really work on the knots and stuff. Amazing for having done so much knitting, crochet, and spinning. She worked on my arms and hands. I'm like, there were so many little like knots and things, especially in my elbows. Oof. I need to try to work that in more often, but it was a really nice treat for my birthday. And then on Sunday, we kind of had a full day of celebrations, but like nothing too crazy. Kent made me breakfast, which was really, really nice. I wanted to go to Whataburger because I have been trying to eat less fried food and less red meat ever since I went to the doctor last month and got my blood work back. Growing up, I've got to treat my body a little bit better. So getting Whataburger was a special treat. Also, it's not close to our house. So my mom and dad actually came with us. We drove out to Whataburger and ate in the restaurant, which is not always at least what I do for fast food, but it's a pretty new Whataburger. So it was packed and it was great. I'm so happy that we did it. It's exactly what I wanted. And for dinner, my mom made my favorite Ritz chicken casserole. And because I didn't have a cake, they put a candle in the Ritz chicken casserole, which made me laugh so hard. I'm not really a cake person, but we also had dessert covered because Kent ordered Levain cookies from New York. So I've been eating my Levain cookies every single day because of course we had to order 8 of them. They had free shipping last week. So, you got to take advantage of that. And my parents also got some too. I've got them addicted to it. So it was just a lot of little simple things over the last week that honestly made it feel like a really special birthday. I'm not usually someone who shares about my birthday a lot, and I feel like I did this week. I feel like I kept bringing it up for some reason. And I think it's because it felt really good and really comfortable and just nothing too crazy, nothing too special, and I don't know. It was a good day. The only thing that I didn't do was cast on a new project, but like I said before, I am happy that I didn't do that because I think it's been more of a gift to myself to get organized and keep making progress on my current projects, which are spinning, cowl, hat, pants, and blanket 5. That's already a lot. I'd like to get that down to a more reasonable like 3, including the spinning. I just think that's where I'm at right now. That makes me feel a little bit better. So we'll see where we're at next week. All right, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.